I mean, I was working them off myself the best I could. And like they said, the kitchen and stuff, I carried out there and had stuff all over me. I said, I gotta replace my clothes. I said, I don't know if I can do another year of it, but I did it.
Well, we appreciate you.
Carlos, I was on the board with you at that same.
Ma'am?
I was on the board with you at the Presbyterian.
Okay, you remember that. You remember that, yeah, yeah. But anyway, Tom Gamble, I think, was over at the second year. First year, I think, was, trying to think. Clark Cody. No, yeah, he was on first. And then that Gardner came along, Brooks
My
Gardner.
father was on the board
Your father?
before,
Yeah.
before you and I got on. We were
Yeah.
on the board,
Yeah.
gosh knows,
My husband was on the board, Virgil Dawes,
Yeah.
for a long time.
Virgil Dawes did so much.
He
for
was
the
always
Childcare
fixing
Center.
something
He
up
fixed
there.
everything. He fixed everything for so many years.
And here's one more part of the question. You know, for the, Agnes said she felt for the Hawfields community. Now, I rode across from up from Joe's and all that. I run that, it was half built. I had a license plate from New York, Maryland, Ohio. I say, can anybody, how many of these kids have been here from northern transplants? They're in the daycare. Anybody know?
I can't answer that.
No
I
idea.
don't know. I mean, I know we have a lot of Alamance County folks, but we do have some people that have moved in.
Right. And on the wait list, you probably got some that moved down and won't be.
Right.
And here's what I dreamed about. Probably never happened, never will. It's a dream of mine. I dreamed about, why don't put a poster at the door, kids of Hawfields members only. I wonder how many of that 400 on the wait list would go down to nothing, or we'd get 100 to come to the church because they wanted to get the kids in the daycare.
Because you go to church, that doesn't mean they're gonna give anything to the church.
Well, I thought giving, as long as you got more attendance, you didn't twist their arm to give.
Well, they-
That's like
They
Agnes
can join
Hester.
and
If
not come.
you're an Agnes, I get out to do twist some arms. And look, I'm not a speaker, never was, I'm a listener. Something told me to get up there and say a soul or something inside my body. See, my body is separate from my soul. When it gets in here and gets to run its mouth, you can't slow it down or stop. Well, so I just brought that up and just leave it at that as far as my part. I don't think I'll say another word. I think I'm gonna took too much time anyway.
You're fine.
Thank
Huh?
you.
You're fine. You're
You what?
fine.
Well, thank
That's
you.
what we're here to talk about, right?
Okay.
All right.
All right, good enough.
David, two comments, two things.
Okay.
First of all, we as a congregation should trust our elders. We elected them to lead us, and now we are questioning why they're doing what they're doing. We should trust our elders. Second thing is, church needs the money. The church.
I'm sorry,
The
say that
church
part again.
the church needs the money. In the sense. I'm through.
So the bigger question is, how much money does the church need?
Well, I don't think.
I'm trying to get some information now to find out where we're at financially. At the admin life committee, I'm hoping to project where we're gonna be financially. This year, running a deficit. I don't know what kind of capital projects are coming up, what we're gonna need to stay afloat, and how much endowment funds we have available, and how long will they last? These are questions that have come up for me. Is it time for us to start selling land? Is another question.
Well,
And if you're gonna sell land at a premium price, these land packages take a long time to pull together to get that kind of money. So the question needs to come is this the time that we need to start setting that in motion? I don't know those answers. I don't know where we're at financially, until that, I can't
The church
really.
had already voted to sell the land to the daycare, not sell it to a second Buddy's or housing complex.
I don't know what's agreed on, that's why I'm investigating the phone.
I mean, I thought we were only gonna sell it to the daycare. Here,
So, let's be clear about the timeline. I mean, well, for one thing, y'all can change your minds all you want to, but at the June 8th meeting, there were a lot of questions about the valuation of the property in question. And there were a lot of comps presented, there were a lot of figures that were presented, but then the question came up to the congregation, okay, but is anybody interested in seeing anything other than the Childcare Center sitting over there? And the answer across the board was no. Now, whether that means what the implications of that are for selling any of the other pieces of property, or for whatever we end up doing moving forward, it's in God's hands. But that's what we did at that meeting.
that land's just holding the world together. We're not using it for anything.
I'm not a member, but may I ask a question? I am a former member. Many years. May I ask a question?
Sure.
I do not have a vote. I have a couple of questions. And I'm sure if I'd been coming to the meetings alone, I would know this and research it more, but has there been an appraisal for the true value of the property? Has there been an appraisal made to know what the value is of the property? Of the, 10 acres that has been, and I understand right now it's $500,000, is it, plus 20? But has anybody approached the open market to find out what this property is truly valued at? And another question, having been on the daycare board a long time ago and not attended this church in a good while, but why is the church's name no longer affiliated with the daycare? And I don't know, I really don't.
So the church's name is still affiliated with the daycare.
Hawfields Presbyterian Daycare?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the legal name of the entity.
I thought it had been, but it's, everything is Hawfields Presbyterian Daycare.
Not everything, but we do have doing business as, and that is, so the legal name is Hawfields Presbyterian Childcare and Development Center Incorporated. On our doing business as, we have Hawfields Childcare, we have Hawfields Childcare and Development Center, we have Hawfields CDC. There may be one more that I can't remember, but there
The
are.
church name is not on that.
Yes, ma'am, that is the legal name, and then we have doing business
But
as as well.
she's saying on the public facing stuff, it appears that the name is not there. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. That's right. Yeah.
And there were 2 appraisals done, the church had those done. I do have copies of those, unless somebody who was on the session at the time wants to speak to that.
Who did those?
The church,
No, I mean, did you have an appraiser do these?
I didn't do anything, but the church, Courtney, let's Courtney speak to that.
Okay.
David Massey Real Estate did 2 appraisals. The land as it sits right now, on his appraisal was $48,000 an acre. If it was converted into townhomes or commercial, I don't exactly remember that amount. It's on the chair, Christie got it, but it was much more. But as it sits right now, it was $48,000 an acre by David Massey Real Estate.
What was the real estate?
Is
David
that,
Massey Real Estate.
and that's in comps with the commercial businesses?
It's not
around here?
commercial, it is residential.
And he based the,
That's now, the potential of it is far greater.
But it's gonna stay daycare. So you can't compare a daycare to Target or Buc-ee's.
No, what I'm getting to is the need for the money for the church. Right now, this is probably the biggest chance that the church could get more money because the churches, I don't go here, I wish I did.
It's not the only opportunity for the church to make money.
But
There's
the-
20 more acres over there.
But there's so much more potential in the 10 right now that we need, and I believe.
Okay, but what,
I believe
why is that an important point to you?
I think a while ago, the gentleman asked a while ago, or was talking about, that we don't know the need right now of the church. We don't know what is necessary. We don't know what it's gonna take to keep the church going, this building, or any other.
But it is not the daycare's responsibility to keep the church going.
I'm on the board, I am the chairperson, I've been on the board for about 15 years, missing about 1.5 years at that time. You can ask all you want, the daycare has only got $500,000 plus $20,000 towards closing. That's the bottom line.
They have that money.
Can I speak to that? Sorry to interrupt you, Philip.
No problem.
I was also on, number one, my kids went there, they were on the wait list 15 months, cause that's how long it takes to get in. And then Ms. Lawrence asked if I would serve on PTA, and when Mrs. Lawrence asks you something, you say yes, thank you, I appreciate it. Later joined the board, and Philip conveniently stepped down as board chair and left the board when I took over as board chair and COVID hit. So I get fiscal responsibility because as Christy and Shelby know, I laid off everybody but 3 people who worked in that building. Because we couldn't charge parents to not send their kids to daycare. They couldn't make that work financially. We live in a place where people need 2 incomes.
And just to say, Megan, that was not our choice, was it? That was something we were
It was
required
a
to do.
choice, but it was not a fun one.
But it was a choice to close based on the government's
Government
recommendation.
direction that this is what we needed to do. And we felt like keeping children safe, staff safe, parents safe. It was the very early days, none of us knew what was coming, we thought that was the right thing to do. Also then, board chair, while we had a lot of kids, anytime a kid was exposed, that we had to say, you can't bring your kids. So I was on a lot of dark boards for telling parents they had to keep their kids home for 7 to 10 days while they were trying to work from home. Not easy. What I can tell you is that I heard rumors at various times over the years that the daycare is a cash cow. 1,000% not true. Probably 87, 88% of what comes in goes directly back into paying staff, and they are not getting rich. There are staff members who could qualify for all sorts of federal assistance who work full-time. The other 13% went into utilities and building maintenance, and that is the best maintained building on this property. Because of building new brands, Chris, Matt, Donnie, all sorts of people, Philip, who have shown up, and you have to maintain that to be able to operate a childcare. So it's not a place that is making money. It is not a place where you can raise tuition indefinitely, because frankly, depending on what your mortgage or your rent is, if you have 2 kids in daycare, that's pretty close to another mortgage payment. So it's not a matter of, is the daycare trying to cheat the church? No, they're not. The daycare wants to grow. They wanted to grow a long time ago, and we looked at it then and said, we don't have the money, we have to wait. We did a PPP loan during COVID that gave us a cushion, and that's where a lot of the fiscal responsibility has led to them having this money that says, we do have some money to buy land and make a plan to expand in the future. If the daycare had tons of money, then I would say, yes, let's run some more numbers and see what the valuation is, but, you know, this is what they have. So if we wanna see it sold and only sold to the daycare, this is the option. And if you don't want it sold, that's okay, but it doesn't help the financial situation?
We know that a lot of the problems are that we have a lot of land that we don't use, and they want the land, cause we don't use it. I'm the youth, I probably use that land, use the land like one time in for water balloons, and that's kind of it. Did not use it for anything else. I don't know about how everyone else on the session uses it, but I know that it's not used at all. They would like it because it really would help their finances. Children would like it because they can learn. And I have been told by some people that you can tell if they go to daycare or not. And daycare is very helpful to a lot of people. And we need money because I think we're not getting that much money, like you said. Money's not one of our big issues that we've been having for a while. Yeah. That's it.
If you want $1 million, it's not coming from the daycare. That's not gonna happen. I'm telling everybody, if you want $1 million, it's not gonna be bought by the daycare for $1 million. Yeah, if you want a truck stop or something like that, we need a few more around here.
I
No.
don't believe I was implying that.
Oh, okay, I
So
just wanna
what-
make sure.
So what were you trying to say?
I was asking, are we getting early? Has an appraisal been done? And what is the need of the church? How much does the church need to keep the buildings afloat?
Well,
Either-
now I can
either
tell you
one.
quite frankly, we need more than $500,000. So we were never gonna get all that we need from this deal alone, not by a long shot. The other thing, in terms of our needs, we have yet to form plans for what's coming that are as well-defined as the Childcare Center is presented to us. That's just where we are right now.
What's gonna happen when the money runs out for the church? I mean, if you look now, they're drawing on investments, is that correct, David? We're drawing, I still say, my church,
Aaron, me and you won't be here. We won't be here.
it's.
I mean, well, so you're asking several questions at once, right?
What does the church need?
How are we gonna manage in a climate where church attendance is down across the country?
Right, I understand.
What are we had some of the same questions that were raised during the pandemic, and we wondered how we were gonna survive that. But we did. We're still here. There were questions that got raised about that years ago before I even got here, where they were contemplating letting go of staff, and then we ended up not doing that either. At the end of the day, the real answer to your question is if God really wants us here, God will make a way. But as a practical matter, this potential sale to the Childcare Center was never going to fully fund all the things that we've thought about doing as a church. That wasn't what led the session to endorse this deal to the congregation. The session endorsed it because we felt like this was a path that God laid out for us. Now, it's up to the congregation to discern if they agree. And the opportunity for that is going to be on August the 23rd. Okay, Henry?
How much money did we offer, did the church, daycare offer last time for the land?
What do you mean like at the June 8th meeting?
A year ago, what did we offer?
It was $500,000.
No, but a year ago, I think.
It was
what you're asking.
500,000.
Was it 500,000?
The change was plus the 20
Close
towards
cost.
closing.
Okay, thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
All right, I thought I saw a hand. Courtney?
I have a question,
Okay.
mainly for you, I guess. If the church does not exist, does the daycare exist? If we don't sell it,
Okay, well, waxing philosophical.
okay, I know. If the church goes under,
Mhm.
and we do not sell this land to them,
Mhm.
what happens to them?
Eventually, they would have to deal with whomever the landowners become. Now, let's be clear, if we closed our doors as a church, because we're a Presbyterian church, that would be a matter of whatever it is that the Presbyterian comes up with as a solution. Because despite our taking the deal in the late 80s to retain control over the property, we are still holding the property in trust for the denomination. So if we dissolve as a church, then the Presbyterian just legally would take over jurisdiction. And then from there, I don't know.
We should have sold the land to them 50 years ago.
Okay, well, we are where we are right now. All right, you were gonna say something?
No,
Okay.
but we're not really in any danger right this moment of dissolving. We're not getting enough money every week in the tithes and donations to pay the weekly bills, but we're not broke either.
No, he said, didn't he say 3 years? We had money, or would last 3 years? And he spoke,
Did who say?
finance person, what's his name?
Are you talking about Ira?
No.
Greg.
No,
Greg,
he did not say that.
Oh, you did not say
I have no way of knowing how long money's gonna last, because I have no way of knowing, and nor does anybody else sitting in this room, knowing of what's gonna come in. The money that was borrowed, or taken, not borrowed, but taken from our, investments was to cover day-to-day expenses, which should be covered by the offerings. And they're not covering them right now. So, you know, if we were to get an influx of people coming to church, hopefully they would give money and we wouldn't even have a problem. So there's no way to know. In years past, we've been looking at deficits in July and even October, and then they go away in December because somebody makes a big gift. So that can happen again this year, but it hasn't so far. There's no way of knowing the future, period, especially from a financial standpoint. You can have anything happen politically, and our investments may deteriorate just because they're investments. Lots of different things can happen. Right now, they're doing quite well. But I gave no 3-year prognostication.
I heard that somewhere, I just thought it was you, I'm sorry.
No, I have no way of knowing that. I don't even have one of those.
Thanks. It seems to me that the whole controversy here is over the price of the land. Having served on the board of directors at the Childcare Center for 10 years and being a member of this church, I feel like I can look at both sides objectively. And doing that, I fail to see how this is not a win-win for both. They want to buy the land, church needs money. Set the price on what you want, vote on it, and it's done. I don't think it's up to them to keep coming here asking for all, and attending all these meetings for answers. When you could say, we'll sell it, yes, or we no. And that's just my 2 cents. It's just a win-win.
And the session said yes.
I just fail to see.
The thing is, I have no doubt we need the money. But if we sell the property and we own or finance it, we're not getting that money to spend. We're getting a monthly payment.
We're not planning to do that.
So that's already secured. Okay? That's wonderful news.
Okay, so does that answer the question you were raising?
Well, after everything I've heard, I still think we need expert help. The session needs expert help in looking at our holdings and getting the best advice we can get with someone that has the credentials.
Was it ALC you were talking about?
That's a designation,
Right, okay.
Accredited land.
accredited land consultant.
Each moving part we have affects how it's gonna deal with the other moving part. And so what he was bringing up before was, we need somebody to look at all of it and say, if you do this, this is how it affects this. If you do this, this is how it affects this. And then we can decide a better way to move forward.
You know, I looked into what accredited land consultants charge.
I'm sure it's up there.
You're looking at either like $250 to $450 per hour of work they do, or a $6,000 to $10,000 flat fee, or a percentage of 10 to 12% of any sales that they generate. And they generally work on a little bit larger deals than this, but they'd be glad to do it, I'm sure. But, you know, on the one hand, we have everybody talking about how we don't have enough money. And I don't think that selling to the daycare, as David just said, is not about the money as far as the session is concerned.
Right.
It's about doing God's will and expanding the daycare, and that frees up the man's property for us to look at future possibilities with it. Because the way the property line runs right now, we can't sell the man's property.
A property line is easy to dissolve. It's a surveyor and the city and the county signing off on it. Moving a boundary is no big deal. I've done it a bunch of times.
Right.
Okay, so I'm saying we need to look at our whole, okay? And deal with the people who are the smartest doing that, who make a living off of it. We've got too much land to sell it at an incredible discount. Or at least let one enhance the other. But have a plan. That's all. Get expert opinion.
It's not necessarily a discount, we went
That's what it's
along the
appraised at.
lines of the appraisal.
That's what it's appraised at.
Well, it was appraised based upon it being zoned R20, which is, used to be R20 meant residential and the 20 meant a 20,000 square foot lot. Everything around here was zoned R20. But if you look at getting a zoning change, that's a whole different thing. But you know what drives it? Proximity. Whatever's closest to us affects our property.
And the water and sewer, isn't that right back there on the property, on the, that drives the appraisal? That's the only thing I'm saying.
But
To
we're
me,
gonna sell
right
it to
now,
daycare.
there's
That's
not
it.
been enough.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to sell anything to anyone other than the daycare. I haven't heard that.
I just think, though, that you're not getting what you could, not just for the daycare, but setting a precedent. I
Sandy.
just don't think. I just don't, I think, just being the outsider looking in, that there's not enough study has been done to this whole element. I don't think so. I just can't, go based on the weekly report of how much you're getting in each week. We're not getting in enough money to keep going as it is. And 500,000 is not gonna last long.
Karen, if you start coming back to church and donating.
Okay, so,
I'm not trying to be smart.
I know, I'm not either, but that's the truth.
okay, so, Sandy, before you go, if I may, can I ask you a question now?
Me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
As you've prayed about this and you have sought God's will about this, what is your sense about that?
That more time needs to be given, more study needs to be done.
You feel like that's what God is telling you?
I think God wants us to make the correct decision, and I don't know that that is what is happening.
Okay, all right, Sandy?
This is gonna be hard, because I'm emotional. I love the Hawfields Presbyterian Church. I love the Hawfields Presbyterian Daycare. And when I hear us say, it's about selling the daycare, the church's finances have nothing to do with it, it's not true. If I love my church, I want it to be here for generations. Back in the 1700s, we have not Civil War, but Revolutionary War people buried there. I don't wanna be the generation whenever we shut the doors, and I hear a lot of that, and I understand why. We've had hard times before, but with the Childcare Center, I have a question. Has anybody, I know you probably thought about it, but I, again, was on the Childcare Board a long time ago, back whenever they moved over there, and we were making the payments every month. It was a struggle in the beginning, but we did it, and they had a bigger account that was set up, everything paid it off eventually. And I was wondering if they're wanting to double the children, right? So that's 166 more, I guess. So that's, why couldn't, has anybody thought, or maybe there's a difference in the